What was the first video you ever made? Not even on YouTube. What was the first piece of content you ever made in life? And then how did you develop the courage and confidence to actually make your first video that you uploaded?
Yeah, the first video I ever made was a music video to Apple Bottom Jeans, which was a really popular song.
How old were you in that song?
We
we used to go to clubs when that song was big.
I was in 5th grade. So
did you even know what Apple Bottom Jeans meant? Or?
No, of course not. No, that was like, I remember a kid at my school telling me that he had made a video off of his camcorder and then he posted it on the internet and that concept was so crazy. And so I went and checked and he really did it. And so I was like, oh, dude, like I have to do that. And I filmed it on like a physical tape and like had like 17 dongles and like finally got it onto YouTube like by like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I went to school the next day. I remember like feeling like that was the craziest thing. I filmed Apple Bottom Jeans, uploaded it. And then I remember just being like, dude, that was the most addictive process of all time. Like that process of creating something and the fact that like, it's not that crazy now, but like then for anyone on earth to be able to watch this video with an internet connection was a crazy idea. Like that was insane.
I think for a lot of people listening and watching, they're thinking about like, what are my friends gonna say?
Yeah.
What are my family gonna say?
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm gonna be seen as stupid or silly or people are gonna laugh at what I created. I think for a lot of us when we started, and Dhar and I have spoken about this, sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who can have the most judgment.
Totally.
And so I remember when I started, people were like, you talk too fast, you talk too slow, or you don't know how to edit well, like that edit was wrong, the music levels are too high. Like, because I was editing it all myself when I started out, I was getting so much feedback. And I can imagine as a 5th grader, that's really hard to deal with. So
you know what's funny, man, is that I would say like in 5th grade, it wasn't even that big of a deal because YouTube wasn't huge then. But I would say when I actually started making videos like 2 years ago, that I completely like, I felt it, man. Like it was like, I had like 500 followers on Instagram and I remember like the audacity for me to make a video and then post on my Instagram, like, please go watch this video. And for me to think that me in this small town has what it takes to go be like a big YouTuber was like, it's so scary to like go out into the world and say, this is my identity now. Like I'm a YouTuber now. I want you to look at me as a YouTuber now. And it's like, bro, come on. Like, and like, that is, it's like Newton's law. Like getting the rock to move in the first place is like the hardest part, you know? And so like that was that first movement of the rock. And I remember like posting that first video was so hard, but I think I honestly got to a point, and I don't know if this is the way it should be, but I honestly got to a point where it was my only option. Like I had a previous business and it was going super south. And I was at a point in my life where it was like, I have to figure something out. And like YouTube was always the thing that I wanted. And I actually went to church that week and I like had been praying about it. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but dude, I had this moment where I had like an overwhelming sense of like peace about it, where I was just like, I could go do this for 2 years, have 500 subscribers in 2 years, and I will feel at least like I did this before I died. And I'll like feel like I at least tried. Like if I get to 80 and I'm not a YouTuber, I'll at least know that I tried to be one. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, man. I just thought about it for so long and I got a sense of peace about it. And I also was in a position where I had no option but to try. And I'm interested in like, how do people do that without having to be in that position? Because that was the position it took me to be in. Like I had to be forced out of the nest to go like make videos or it was never going to happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you say you're curious as to what it's like to not be in that position, I can't answer that because I was in that same position too.
But
that says
so
something.
Crazy.
Like, all three of us had to be in a position where we had to get forced out of the nest to go make the video. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's interesting to think about. I don't know. Do you have to go be in a situation of like desperation to make a big move in your life?
I mean, I think there's a lot of truth in that. When you were talking about all the other stories as well, it's almost like if you have to have inspiration or motivation to start, those are usually not the two things it starts with. It's more likely to start with desperation.
I need to pay rent.
It's like you're missing something on like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like your basic needs are not met and I have to make videos to make that happen.
Exactly. Or like a feeling for me, which was like, I really want to share this message and no one cares. And no one will give me a shot in the traditional way. So the only option I have is an option I control. And today I think we'd all say, and I want to ask this to you as well, it's like today I'd say that we're all grateful that we control our destiny in the sense of that you're not beholden to someone giving you permission,
right?
Or you're not waiting for someone to sign off and say, that's a great idea. Like you should do that. Like you can just do what you want to do.
Yeah. Wait, can I ask you about that? What you tried, like, for example, to have your own like talk show, right? Where you're like basically just a guy that's being hired to get on stage. But now you control the whole media company.
Yes.
Like you have your own media company.
Yes.
Like how do you feel now looking back at that?
I am so grateful to everyone who said no.
Yeah.
Like I am so grateful.
You should be.
Right.
It's like, sometimes people are like bitter or trying to prove someone wrong. I see it the other way.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone who said no to me, thank you so much. You're the best person in the world, because if you said yes, I would still be working for you or having to work under you or having to figure this whole thing out. Whereas today I just get to dream and imagine and create, and I can do whatever I want and test it and see how it goes. And now I know that the community I have really believes in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So anyone who ever said no to me or rejected me or slammed the door in my face, I'm very grateful. I appreciate them deeply. I wonder with you, like, what was it that 2 years ago you started to see it flow? What was the difference between...
Can I just add something really quick? I mean, I just want to recap just all these golden nuggets that I feel like we've gotten so far. Number one is like, there's a power in no, right? Like you don't know when someone's closing a door, what they're actually saving you from and what door is waiting around the corner,
Well
right?
said.
And then number two, there's a power in rock bottom, right? Like a lot of people might be like down in their careers, down financially, down in their marriage, down in their school, wherever they are. Try to find a source of power in that, because from there, there's only one way to go, which is up. And then there's also a power in criticism as well, right? Like I think all three of us experienced some sort of judgment from peers, from family, from whoever else, but we never let that stop us and we kept marching forward. And I think all three of those things together, there's some power that's unlocked that allows you to achieve great success. So sorry,
I love that. No,
I had to break that down.
That was a great
That's the Dhar man way right there.
Yeah,
That's how he does it. That was beautiful.
I loved it. That was a great recap. recap.
So good with your question.
No, I think it's wonderful when three people are sitting here, we're going, yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But for you, Eric, what was that moment that you started to see possibility and how have you leaned into that? Because I think as a creator, one of the hardest things to do is find momentum. And then when you find it, to keep it, right? So you see creators come about, they have their moment and then it all drops and dips.
For sure.
You see some that find the momentum and keep it going. How did you get that initial moment of the beginning of that journey?
Yeah.
And then how have you continued to sustain it or grow it?
I think that in previously to YouTube, I always saw power in setting a goal and then like granularly breaking down like how do you actionably get to X goal? You know what I mean? And like I think there's so much power in what you just said too, which is that you have nothing to lose at rock bottom. That's the power of rock bottom. You have nothing to lose. Like what do I have to lose? You know what I mean? So I set this goal in year one of going from I have 500 followers on Instagram. And so I set the goal of going from 0 to 1 million subscribers on YouTube from like 0, 0, 0. Like I had no presence anywhere, you know? So that was the goal. And then I worked backwards of like, how do I actually get to 1 million subscribers before the end of the year, you know? And I basically decided that the only way that that was going to happen was by me showing up and by me learning every single week. And so I said, I need to make one video every single week for the rest of the year. That's my goal. And I think that by doing that, I'll exponentially learn faster because I'm promising myself that every single week I'm going to upload a video, and I have to stick to that. And by video 15, I'm going to be 100 times better at making videos than on video 1, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's actually pretty true. Like by video 15, I still had, a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube, which was crazy to me at the time. But it was interesting because as you practice something, you notice these little you're like, oh, this one did like 2 times better than the last video. What worked about that video? And like you replicate those things and you build upon it and it becomes this snowball, you know? And I think I learned a big lesson on that, which I've tried to carry forward, which is that people connect to, like, when you really show your true colors, people connect to that. And like there was a moment where I snuck into a Jake Paul fight to interview Logan Paul, and I dressed up as a fake reporter because he said on a podcast that he was looking for like driven young creative people. And I'm like, that's me. Like I'm that guy. I need to get in front of him. So I like fly to Miami, sneak into this fight with fake credentials. I pull Logan aside. I'm like, oh, I'm a reporter. I have to interview you. It's part of your contract. And he's like, all right, cool. And I like get him in an interview, and then I'm like, hey, dude. Like I'm down bad. Like I'm in a bad situation, but I'm going to figure this out. I promise. And like you can be on the upswing of like what I'm about to do because I have no option but to be successful, you know? It's like I have to be and I will be. And I'm like telling him this like And I honestly was like in that conversation with him, and I forgot that there was a camera there. And then I remember watching the footage back and being like, ugh, like this is showing like a deep part of me. Like I'm like exposed on camera here, you know? And I uploaded the video, and then that video was the one that like the first day I got like 500 views, and I was like, oh my gosh. And the next day it got like 5,000 views, and it like just grew day over day over day. And I learned from that, like the more that I show of myself and the more actually vulnerable I am with the audience and like really show myself, and the better storyteller I can be, the better these videos do. You know what I mean? Which was a really empowering thing for me, that I didn't have to fake anything, that I could literally just make a video that I was passionate about and really actually show myself to the camera, like without a screen or anything. Yeah, it was a huge moment for me.
Yeah, I'm so interested in just more of these types of interactions, because I've seen a lot of your content and you've put yourself in some crazy situations.
Yeah.
But I do just kind of want to address the earlier point that you said, that you tied your success metric to your process and not the outcome. And I think that's so important, because even though you wanted to get to 1 million subscribers, right? Like you said, I'm going to post a video a week no matter what, which is your process. If you had said every video I post has to get 10,000 views, the moment that that doesn't happen, you would have felt super discouraged and want to give up. But because you attach it to the process of no matter what, I'm going to post a video a week, you have to keep up with that commitment, even on the days you don't feel like it, even on the days you don't have good ideas, even on the days that you feel sad or don't have energy or are dealing with drama at home. And I think that's such a good takeaway for anyone out there that has a dream or a goal. Don't worry so much about how many people are going to watch it or buy this or how successful it's going to be. Simply create a goal revolving around the process, the consistency, the persistence. Put in that work week after week, and it can lead to amazing results, as we've seen.
Yeah. I also love the gratitude. Like when I'm hearing you speak, you're like, and this is a great learning lesson. You're like, I was like 400 views, and that was like double the last one. And I'm like, I can hear that you actually felt really grateful for the 400 views. You were like, oh, I had 200 subscribers after a month, and that was amazing. Like, and I know you're not just saying it. And even in the few moments I've spent with you, I could tell that you have this really like open, grateful heart. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I think so many people would look at that 400 views and be like, oh, well, it's not 40,000, right? Or 200 subscribers after a month. Like, you know, and even being grateful for the process and the progress that's made, and being like, wow, there's 200 people that are following my journey. That gratitude's really special. Like that thankfulness is really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not grateful for that stuff in the beginning, I'm sure you guys are the same, but it'll also be hard to be grateful when it's, you know, millions. I feel like millions are harder to be. It's harder to even understand. Your brain's not built to understand that many numbers. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that you take that slow and really enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
So I read that you got punched by Jake Paul.
Oh, I did. I did.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's a good. That's funny actually. Yeah. So after I basically had this long going thing back and forth with me and Logan, and then basically ended up buying his. He had this famous Mercedes-Benz couch that he had bought.
Yes.
So I ended up buying this couch. I took out an SBA loan to buy this couch, which is like
that to a bank.
Yeah, it's like a low interest government loan for people that don't know. Like I convinced them that I was going to buy this whole other thing. I just lied to them.
How big was that loan?
It was $17,500
for a couch.
For a couch. Yeah,
but
Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, true.
But dude, this is what I'm saying, man.
We got to sit on this couch.
Yeah, dude, it was not a comfortable couch. I'm telling you right now. But bro, I was like, by making those videos for like week after week after week, I had become like ear to the floor, like understanding how the internet works, what people were interested in. And I like saw that couch and I'm like, that's a viral moment. And like, so I cashed it out, bought it, huge risk. Do not do that. Like bad idea generally. And bought the couch.
Don't buy a $17,000 couch.
$17,000.
The advice for all the young people out there.
Yeah, horrible idea. Do not do that.
Okay.
Won't get you a viral video anymore, I promise. But anyway.
Unless you're selling it and someone's going to buy it then.
Unless you're selling it or making...
No, do you still have it?
Oh, I don't. It's somewhere out on YouTube. It's somewhere on the YouTube landscape. I have no idea where all the pieces are. But anyway, yeah, we ended up doing this like huge series with the couch. We did like 6 episodes with it. We threw it out of an airplane. We put explosives in it one time and blew it up. We did all this crazy stuff. And then one time I gave it, so there's 4 pieces of it, and I gave a piece of it to Jake Paul as a gift. So I brought it to his house, but I said the only way that he could have it is if he boxed me over it and won.
And like you showed up at his house, or
this
how do
is
you
what was
get
actually
an
supposed to
invite?
happen. I don't know if I've ever said this. What was actually supposed to happen that day was I had a professional boxer lined up who was going to jump out of the trailer and box Jake. And then I was going to be on the sidelines cheering it all on and being like thumbs up to camera. But
Known to Jake or unknown to Jake?
Unknown to Jake. No. Jake didn't know anything about the day.
What?
Jake didn't even know anything about this day. He didn't even know I was coming. That was a whole nother story, but he didn't even know I was coming. So Jake, I show up. I'm on the way to Jake's house with this couch. Boxer calls me. He's like, hey, I can't come. Like, I hurt my arm or something. I'm not coming anymore. And I'm like, dude, like, what am I going to do? The Jake's waiting. I have this couch in the back of the car. We're driving there right now. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to box him myself. And so we get there, and then if you watch the video, I'm the guy who jumps out of the trailer, and then I'm like, oh, you want to box? Like I have any boxing experience at all. And I end up getting in the ring with Jake. And it's so funny, man. Like at that time, that video is such a time capsule for me of like, that is when you see in my face, I'm not lying. When I say I had no option but to do YouTube, that video is an example of that. I literally, if I don't make that video, I will have to default on the loan. It cannot pay rent that much. It will be bad. So it's like, I have to do what I have to do. Like I'm getting in the ring with Jake Paul and I'm going to box. It doesn't even matter the day. Like, and nothing matters except for making the greatest video possible this week. That's it. Like I'm stuck to my schedule. Like I have to make the video this week. I promised myself I'm like 27 videos into this year. I have to make the 28th video this week or I'm going to let myself down, you know? So I get in the ring with Jake Paul, box the dude, get absolutely destroyed. I was destroyed.
That takes a lot of guts. I mean, no one else is taking that off for us. So you really showed up.
Yeah, well, you can blame my loan that I hadn't paid back yet. So, get destroyed by Jake, make a video out of it. And that video went everywhere. You got a lot of use
out of that couch, though, if you think about it.
Dude, I got a lot. I think about it now with the videos that we make, and I'm like, dude, $17,000 does not go as far anymore with the videos we make. Like, I really made something out of that. It's funny to think back on, but I'm sure you guys have stories about like
not
just
that
scrounging.
Good.
No, not that good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I had to sell my couch. Yeah, really? When I was starting my business in college. I wasn't buying couches. I was selling them.
You should have contacted me. I was really into the couch market back then.
I know.
Yeah.
I would have gotten a lot more money if I sold it to Airrack.
Yeah, probably.
And then I also saw that you got sued by Mike Tyson at one point.
I did. Yeah, I've gotten sued by a couple people for these. There was an early trend for me of sneaking into places. It was like a big thing I used to do, like off camera. I would just do this for fun. That's why I always say on YouTube.
So this never made it into videos, like the actual.
Mike Tyson suing me did not ever make it into a video. I also got sued by Dan Bilzerian. I've gotten sued by a couple other companies, but I can't talk about that on here. But when I was a kid, I always used to sneak into things. I just thought it was fun. Like I would sneak into music festivals off camera. And so when I started doing YouTube, that was a natural progression for me. Like I just thought it'd be fun to make these videos. And yeah, I snuck into a different, the fight here in LA, and actually snuck into the Staples Center, now the Crypto Arena. Snuck into the Crypto Arena, got front stage tickets, watched Mike Tyson fight. It was amazing. There was nobody there. We had the stadium to ourselves. It was just production and us.
Wow.
And it was just me and my friends watching Mike Tyson fight. It was a very special moment. It was really, really cool.
Was that why you got sued?
Yeah. We posted a video about it. And, then they were
Mike
like, "You're not supposed
personally
to be there."
went after you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike's estate went after us.
Man, why did I ever buy any ticket in my life? Like I wasted so much money.
You're just gonna be friends.
You know?
You're just gonna be
You
friends.
guys want to go to any event, you just let me know. I'll come with you. You don't pay to go anywhere.
I mean, that amount could be huge, right? Like that's more than the couch. So
$100,000 tickets.
Wow.
Easy. Yeah, we were front row. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Dan Bilzerian, we snuck into his party, and that was a whole thing. But yeah, it's been a journey. I mean,
I guess the dad in me, and I guess going back to the reason why we started this podcast, you're 25, right? You've got such a long runway ahead of you. And I didn't start thinking about these things until I would say my mid-30s or something. But so, what advice would you want to give to young people who might be looking at that and saying, oh, now I want to sneak into events or, I want to try to get punched by Jake Paul for views or so. Does there ever become a disconnect in terms of the type of content that you're putting out there versus the message that you want young people to take away from that?
Definitely. Yeah, no, I think it's super important. I think it's a very good question. Like I really appreciate when people give me pushback on this type of stuff too, because I think, like I said at the time, I was so desperate for I just have to do what I have to do to upload weekly and make this YouTube thing work out. You know what I mean? I don't look back at those videos and regret them because I think that you can see in those videos that my intent was always positive. Like I was always trying my attempt was always to prove to the kid version of me in a small town somewhere that like you can make this thing happen from nothing. Like and that's still my mission to this day is like I want to inspire the youth, like the kids who are living somewhere in Oklahoma who have no idea that any of this stuff is possible. Like I want them to see that you can be that kid and still make this possible, you know? Yeah. And that was the attempt of those videos, and that's the energy of those videos. But I do think it's important, and I've taken time specifically to those in different videos to talk about that stuff. But you know, I think I was just so desperate to make those videos happen, and I don't think that. And it's funny. It's actually funny now because a lot of times I'm actually experiencing the backlash of those types of videos on myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, sneaking into stuff, and then all of a sudden you have 50 kids sitting outside of your house, like sneaking into Airrack's house. You know what I mean? Gotcha. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, like that's not so fun when you're on the backside of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think for me it's been a huge learning lesson, especially becoming a big YouTuber. Like. My new perspective, and one that I've had to realize very quickly here, because I've only been doing this for like 2 years, is like, as you go to the top, right, you become a reflection of the platform. And like, it's my job now to do a good job at being a reflection of YouTube as a platform, a company that I'm such a fan of. Like, I'm such a fan of the platform. Like, it's also my job not just to make videos that I think are like shocking, but videos that I think are also a good reflection of the platform, you know? And that's something that I'm working towards, and that's something that I'm learning a lot about, you know?
And that's a hard, that's a hard balance, and very mature to hear. I mean, you know, with your talent and skill and creativity level, I think it's so easy for you to just keep pushing the buttons and pushing the extremes. And to hear that you're trying to figure that out, I mean, I honestly believe that constraints actually make someone more creative. It's like how a lot of, when I had the opportunity to sit down with Kobe Bryant, he talked about how strategy and structure made space for spontaneity. Wow. Like creativity came from that constraint. Wow. And so I think often when people think like, oh, you can't put all these barriers up and everything, but it's actually when you have barriers, that's when you have these biggest breakthrough ideas because you're like, wow, I really have to figure out a way to make this entertaining. And so I'm even more excited to watch your stuff now. I already find you massively entertaining. And now I get even more excited because I love that. But what I've noticed throughout this whole conversation, and even when we were researching, you're so thoughtful and strategic. Like you're just, everything doesn't sound like it was just like, oh, it happened. And it was, there's real thought behind you. You had a quote here that I wanted to share that I thought was so powerful. You said, unfulfilled potential is my biggest fear. And I was just like, wow, that's, you know, there's a lot of maturity in that, and there's a lot of depth in that. What potential do you think you have that you're trying to fulfill?
Dude, I mean, like, I get emotional when I talk about that stuff, but like, there's so much of me, like, just based on my experience as a kid and everything, like I just saw so many people that were put in a position in life where just off the bat, they are given a bad hand. You know what I mean? And it's like up to all of us to make the best out of our hand. You know what I mean? But I really genuinely feel so blessed and so grateful to be given a pretty good hand in life. And I feel a huge sense of debt to that. Of like the idea of even being born in America in a middle-class family is so crazy. It's such a crazy thing to have. Like, and I think that a lot of us just don't even understand what a blessing that is. You know, the gravity of that weighs on me and makes me feel like I just want to take what I've been given and exponentiate it to the highest possible degree before I die. You know what I mean? That it feels like that's my duty by being put on earth and being put not only in that position, but this position we're all in right now, like being on the stage with you guys, like. It's such an opportunity to make something out of our lives and impact people in a positive way. And I don't know, I live with a healthy like weight of that on my shoulders of like, I have to make the most out of my life before this is all over, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that feels super, very, I guess that,
powerful.
I always say that it feels like so, I don't know, like theoretical.
No, it's very
like,
genuine.
But I really mean that. And I want that's really what motivates me every day.
And then I was going to ask you about the turning up to David Dobrik's house with all the lookalike. I mean, like, you know, I want to know about that. Tell us about that, because I love the behind the scenes you're letting us into. Yeah. But also I want to know, like, after that, your creative process. Like, how do you even come up with these ideas? Like, what is your strategic creative process? Yeah. Because I think anyone who's listening and watching, they're going to need to be exposed
How about this?
To
I'll talk about mine, and then you guys have to talk about yours. I want to know. I'm actually interested. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I think people think that this type of stuff it's just sort of happens. It should feel like it just happens, but the secret behind it all is that it is definitely all like we think a lot about this stuff, and we spend for every one video, we probably spend 500 to 1,000 man hours just like developing the concept of how that video should like feel, like what's important, like how do we make these things happen. Like the creative structure of a video is so thought about. It's like we go so deep into that stuff. I mean, we have 2 guys whose full-time job is literally just come up with video ideas. Like just come up with interesting, crazy video ideas. We have a guy whose job it is to like develop those into interesting ideas. I spend a lot of time in that process as well. We have 4 people's job it is to like make those visions come to reality, We have all the boys who are on the team. We have all the management company. We have 2 or 3 other companies, but the production company is probably 15 or 20 people that just focus on taking a creative ambition like that video idea, like surprising David Dobrik with 100 David Dobriks and bringing it to life. You know what I mean? And then doing that on a weekly basis, like actually doing that consistently is an insane undertaking, And I'm sure that you guys live with that.
How do you find 100 people that look like David Dobrik? Like
you hit up a
audition
casting agency
everyone
6 months in advance, and they spend 6 months just trying to find a guy that looks like David and hitting up everybody.
I love that video took 6 months to cast.
Yeah. And you'll never know. It's just another week of videos.
Yeah.
And was he expecting that? Like when you showed up?
He had no idea. I made Natalie like promise me, like sign a contract. You're not going to tell David anything. But he was not expecting that at all. Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah. Okay. Now your turn. Tell me about your team. Tell me about your creative process. How often are you posting on everything? Are you posting? You're probably posting like multiple times a day.
We're posting. On everything.
Everything.
Like 100 times a day, probably. Well, that's because.
Are you exaggerating?
Well, no, that's because all of our videos are dubbed into 7 different languages. And then we also we have like 40 different channels and pages because we're going the mass saturation model. Yeah. So it's interesting that you put, 100 plus man hours into a video.
Yeah.
I actually can't put more than 4 hours into any video. It's just a rule that I have to move on.
Constraint.
So, and I have it broken down exactly to where my time goes. So I spend about 1 hour in ideation and outline that I do with my creative team. So I have 5 different screenwriters that pitch concepts, and they're only allowed to pitch like 1 sentence of a concept because I don't want like I want freedom to go in different directions with the idea. We talk about that for about 45 minutes to an hour. And by the time that call is done, they know exactly what's going to happen scene by scene.
Wow.
And we talk about, the antagonist, the protagonist, the backstory, the moral of the story. Where is the climax? Where's the character change? What type of, is this like middle school, high school, adults? Are they rich? Are they poor? Like we'll establish all those. What types of settings does this take place? So I have 1 hour to establish all of that, regardless of how creative I'm feeling or how tired I am or whatever it is. And I did 3 of those on my way up here, actually. And then after that creative process, they write the first draft of the script. I get the draft of the script. I have 2 hours to edit it. And so I have to do my very best to edit it the way that I want. Usually, if it's a tight outline, they've gotten pretty good at submitting pretty good first drafts. So 2 hours max on the edit, and then 1 hour for final review on the video and any notes.
Yeah.
And then, maybe I would say like 45 minutes on final review and then 15 minutes on thumbnail and title. And I know people that spend months on thumbnails and titles. Like I was watching a recent interview with Reed from Mr. Beast Manager, and he said that Jimmy has recorded videos and spent insane amounts of money and time. And like, for instance, they went to the 7, the greatest wonders of the world.
Yeah.
And they filmed all this content, and simply because they couldn't think of the title and thumbnail, they decided not to post it. But for me, it's a volume game. So it's like, I don't have more than 15 minutes to think about the title and thumbnail. So I have to be thinking about streamlining every aspect of the creative process. And I post 5 original videos on my main channel a week, but we shoot 7. Because I'm always recording more content than we're posting. Because I want to be 6 months ahead on my videos, because I think about things like, what happens if I'm hospitalized?
Yeah.
Like I have to think of everything in terms of a legacy, right? Like Disney became bigger after Walt Disney died. And that's how I want to try to build our studio, where it's never at a point where the operation can't go on simply because I'm unable to.
That's beautiful, bro. I love that. That's an interesting model.
You'll get a sneak peek. We're going to go to my studio after this.
Yeah. I want to see it.
Okay,
I want to see it. I'm inspired by I think that what you're doing is innovative, and you can tell because I've seen a million people copy your videos. And when people start copying your videos and stuff like that, that's how you know you're doing something new. You got a wave going. So it's really cool. You got a whole wave going on YouTube.
Thanks.
It's cool.
I think for me, artworks evolved so much, but I remember the initial creative process was when I started creating content, inspirational, positive content wasn't big on social media.
Yeah.
It practically didn't exist. And I was following a lot of the earlier, I guess at that time, Musical.ly and Vine creators, and they were creating all these comedic sketches. And I was just like, that's really interesting that they're using a sketch format for comedy and creating these stories. What if we could do that in a positive motivational message base? So I started creating videos around couples that were breaking up and couples that were getting together because relationships was something my audience really cared about. And that was like what we did 4 or 5 years ago. And then we evolved into the podcast world. So I launched my podcast On Purpose 3 years ago in 2019. And at that time, even the podcast market wasn't as infiltrated.
Right.
And so for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do a guest every week on a Monday, but then I'm going to do a solo workshop on my own every Friday. And that model didn't really exist. Like podcasts were generally interview based.
This was your original idea, like when you started?
Yeah.
From the beginning?
Oh, no. This was like so my goal was as soon as we mastered a platform, it was about how do we go build another platform? How do we go build a different medium? So my goal was always master a platform, move on, master a platform, move on, maintain but move on, because I just thought that there was this incredible momentum. So we went from dominating at that time Facebook to wanting to spread Facebook across to YouTube, Instagram, then TikTok, of course, much later on, but then really creating this loop into audio and moving into podcasting and then moving into the written form of the book. So now I just spent 2 years writing my second book.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's 2 years, 4 hours a day, every single day, 5 days a week to write one book.
Wow.
But I'm really proud of this book. It's something that I poured my heart into for 2 years.
Wow.
And so I can go from posting a clip that's literally 2 minutes, that's from a cut down of a podcast episode with an interview, to then spending 2 years writing a book. And I've found that I'm moving in that direction of going, well, what's the next medium and what's the next forum that we can serve our audience in? So for me, my point was a 4-minute video only showed 4 degrees of my personality. A podcast showed 180 degrees of my personality. Me writing a book showed like 270 degrees of my personality. And then me on stage is like 360 degrees of my personality. So my goal was always, how do I show more of who I am more vulnerably through new mediums?
Wow, interesting.
Because I was like, on a 4-minute video, you'll only ever know this much about me. But if you listen to my book, my audiobook for 20 hours, or you listen to my podcast every week, or you read a 300-page book, you're going to be deeply understanding of what I believe and what my values are and what I'm trying to share.
Got it.
So that was my approach to it.
When you think about the book, like, do you look at the book as like, this is like a legacy piece, or is this like this is like at what point in the funnel is this book, and like what's the purpose of the book to you?
Yeah, to me the book is timelessness. I think social media is timely, and the book is timelessness. It's like I want someone to pick up my first book in 10, 15, 25 years time, 50 years time, and still connect the ideas in the book. I try and not use trends or fads in the book. I try and not use language that society is excited about right now. I try and use words that I think are gonna last the test of time.
Have you always wanted to write a book?
That's a great question. I'd say that I've always loved books. I've been a big reader my whole life. Like if you come to my house, I have more books in my house than any other item in the world. I read more books than I watch TV, than I listen to music. Like books are my first love. And
do you
so,
make time to read books?
Yes.
Every day?
Yeah, every day. I have
make
to,
time to read them?
100%.
Do you audiobook?
No, I read. I'm a reader. I'm like a physical reader. I don't like digital.
Dude, you're an anomaly in 2022.
I'm old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I love having a physical. I love holding the copy and the pages, and I love like being present with how it was put together. And I love reading, and I can read pretty fast, so it's not difficult now. But it's almost like if you can listen at like 1.5 times to the speed, I kind of read like that.
You're reading at 3x.
Yeah, I'm reading it. Yeah, maybe not 3, but yeah, I'm reading fast. And like for me, the goal is like, can I put this into practice? So my goal isn't to finish a book. My goal isn't to complete a book. My goal isn't to say I read this many books. My goal is to say I learned this one idea this week and I'm now living it. because that to me means it will be with me forever.
That's so interesting. I do feel like that's like there's like, even between like me and like kids, or like you and me, there's like a divide of like, I absorb content by like, I'm constantly watching or listening. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like a different thing. And maybe it's that was like the moment of like growing up literally with a screen in your face.
Totally.
I don't know. I'm interested. That's
and
really
we saw that like when I sold my first book, a lot of it is audiobook listens. Like most people, a lot of people are listening. Like almost I'd say 30% of the sales are audiobook.
Wow.
So you see that people are really, especially the younger audiences, are listening. And you know, I love that. I mean, to me, everyone has a different learning style, and whatever learning style suits you wins.
Yeah.
No one has to be someone else. So if someone's learning better by hearing than reading, that's what you should do.
Very interesting.
Just so you know, I have both. I have the audiobook and your physical books.
Oh, I love
probably
you,
have
man.
like
Thank
five.
you,
I probably have like
It's
five of your
just juicing your
physical books.
sales.
Dar's just read all
You're
of
like,
them.
our sales spiked today
Yeah.
by one customer. No, his writing style is amazing. I mean, I remember just reading a statistic that like CEOs on average, I think, read like 50 plus books a year, or some absurdly high number, where the average American doesn't even finish one book a year, and the number one genre that they do read, if they choose to, is romance.
Yes.
Wow.
So I think that's definitely just a trait of highly successful people, and that's usually what I try to follow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I had 2 questions for you guys.
Yeah, go
Number
for it.
one's for you.
Okay.
Which is, you've interviewed basically everyone that I look up
You're
to.
the best by far.
Of course I am. There's no question about that. But you've interviewed like Kobe and like all these guys. They're just great. They've just done. They're like anomalies at everything that they do. Like, what have you distilled in all of your time spent? You have such a high amount of hours spent with people that are just amazing at what they do, just God tier individuals. You know what I mean? What would you tell me as somebody who's just new and coming up in YouTube and stuff and in content? Like, what would you tell me to do?
The first thing I'd say is that the reason why Dhar and I started this show is because I think we both love greatness, and we both love people who are dedicated and determined and ambitious and dedicated to greatness. And so I think you're also counted in that group of people.
Of course, yeah.
I think, you know, when I sit with you, I learn as much as I would learn from anyone else. Like to me, everything you've said today, there've been so many moments where I'm blown away, where I'm like in awe, where I'm like deeply appreciating you. And I think that's I just want to put that out there before I answer the question.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I always think in terms like when we're building this stuff, like it's like I want to be the greatest at this thing. You know what I mean? And that's there's a never satisfied piece to me for sure. And I see that parallel. And a lot of and you guys, both of you, but and also, I mean, that's basically been your mission for the last few years, is interviewing these people and bringing them to the world. So I'm interested in like your takeaways.
I'd say the 3 things. So the first one I'd say is that there's genuinely, especially in the people right at the top, like I'm talking about like someone who's worth like $20 billion plus, someone who's won every championship possible, like someone who's won every act, like people are right in that 0.0001%. I'd say that there's massive humility and curiosity. They really believe they can learn from you. So when I'm sitting with them, they want to ask questions just like you have been today. They're humble and curious. They still believe there are tons of things in life that they don't know about, and they want to learn it from someone who may know more than them. And I think that that's been one of the most endearing things to me, where I find that a lot of the people who are on their way to the top sometimes lose that, and pride and ego and arrogance take over. But humility is like right up there for those people. Humility and curiosity.
Wow,
that's really powerful, I think. The second thing I'd say is that there's massive sense control. So you brought this up, like there's massive amounts of discipline. Like they wake up when they need to, they sleep the right amount of time, or not even the right amount, they sleep in an organized way. They're usually people who are good at discipline and self-control and making sure that they're not just giving in to every impulse and every urge of the body or mind. They usually have a great sense of discipline. That's been a huge one. And the third and final thing I'd say is that they really don't believe that they've made it. Like they don't believe that they've got to the end of anything. And they are constantly open-minded about what else is there. So there isn't a feeling of like, I done this, I know everything, everything's sorted. It's like, no, like, fine, I've mastered this area. And so they have this brilliant balance between confidence and openness. So they're confident, but at the same time, they're like totally open to the fact that they don't know anything. And I think that weird paradox is pretty cool. But there's so much more we could talk about. But
yeah. No, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful. Those are great.
Yeah.
What's like one sentence or thing that you guys would give me to be more successful as like we go forward into this thing?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
And I know that seems so basic because the thing is, it's easy when you're on the high that you're on right now to feel that momentum that, hey, you know, I've got this groove I'm posting every week. My subscribers are growing. My views are growing, right? I'm just going to keep like that. I can do this forever. A time will come, right, where views don't come as easy, creativity doesn't come as easy. You're gonna have stress like with your team, you're gonna have stress at home, you're gonna have stress internally. And I think what really separates those 0.00001% of people that from what Jay is talking about to all those other people that might have just had a wave for a few years is that those really successful people don't give up. They learn how to push through those lows. They learn how to, you know, like right now we're headed towards like a recession. A lot of people are feeling sad. A lot of people are going to end up giving up on their dreams or whatever else. But how many people are actually going to remain creative, remain, you know, diligent and keep working past those? So I would just say it's just as important in how you deal with your highs as to how you get through your lows when it comes to building something long-term sustainable.
Cool. I love that.
Should we do the rapid fire?
Yeah,
We have to.
I know.
We have to. Eric's too awesome. Let's do the rapid fire. Yeah, we're gonna move through this fast. This is the rapid fire round, Eric. So you got to answer the questions as fast as you can.
I'm ready to answer as fast as possible.
Current stress level 1 to 10.
Whoa, 8.
How much did it hurt getting punched by Jake Paul?
Scale of 1 to
10.
It's 11. It was horrible.
If there were stats available for every aspect of your life, which one stat would you want to see?
Oh, right now I'm trying to get. I have a legal contract with Mr. Beast to see who can get bigger in 6 months. So it's got to be my. I need like a bar above my head that tells me my my muscle amount in my body right now. Yeah.
I love that.
One dream person that you could collaborate with that you haven't already.
Oh, Tiger Woods.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that's okay. Interested to hear about that. Who makes you starstruck?
Tiger Woods.
I love that. Okay, cool.
You've done a lot of crazy videos. What's one crazy one you've done that you just decided not to post?
Oh, I snuck into the NBA bubble and then never posted the video because I regretted it immediately. It was really bad.
Wow.
What happened that made you regret it?
We'll talk about it on podcast.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Caring, eccentric, hardworking.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
You guys like how fast I'm answering these?
Yeah,
No,
this
it's
is good.
amazing.
You're the most impressive we've had so
Come
far.
on.
No one's been this quick.
Who's the most notable person who's been in your DMs?
I won't say this is the most notable person, but I will say when I had like 5,000 followers and I was trying to figure YouTube out, Addison Rae DM'd me and gave me a very nice paragraph of encouragement.
Oh, wow.
And that was what feels like the most notable. That meant a lot to me.
Wow, what was that off? What did that come from? Like,
That
what?
came when I trapped myself on an island before to get to 1 million subscribers at the end of the year, and she DM'd me and said that she was like rooting for me. She reposted my video and helped me out tremendously. Probably got me like 20,000 subscribers or something. Did not have to do anything. She just randomly did that and hit me up and sent me a very nice message. So I've always appreciated that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
And have you
Sweetheart.
talked to Addison since?
I did. I met her about half a year later, and we had a really cool moment. It was really cool. She's a sweetheart. I don't know if you guys have met her, but she's
I
awesome.
haven't. All right, you get 15 shots from half court basketball.
gosh.
If you hit one, you win 10 million. If you miss all 15, you spend 2 years in prison. Would you try it?
If I miss, I spend 15 years in prison.
No, 2 years in prison if you miss.
Oh my gosh.
But if you get one, you get $10 million. Do you try
no,
it?
there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. I would tell my fans, I would hope that they would help me make 10 million so I didn't have to go to prison.
Yeah, Dhar would do it.
That's
He's
true.
don't give up. So.
Maybe I would pay 5 million to get like Michael Jordan to do it for me or something.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
Do you think you're going to be the biggest YouTuber in the world?
Of course. I will either be the biggest YouTuber in the world or die trying. Those are the only 2 options. Of course.
How long do you think it's going to take you to get there?
That's a good question. I would like for it to take longer. I think the game is so fun. I'm having so much fun playing the game, but I think it'll probably happen in like 5 years, 7 years, something like that.
So you think in 5 to 7 years, you're going to have more subscribers than Mr. Beast?
100%. 100%.
All right, Jimmy, if you're listening.
No, Jimmy's done for.
Shots fired.
This is nothing I'm not telling. I've said this to Jimmy's face. He's done for. But I love that guy. We're good friends. We
Yeah,
have a
we
healthy
just had him on.
camaraderie.
Yeah,
he's a
just
sweet
had
guy.
him, yeah.
Did he look buff?
Huh?
Did he look
No,
buff?
I think you look.
Do I look better than him?
Yeah,
He's supposed to be working out.
I love you, Jimmy. But Eric, you're incredible. I hope that you come on every single year, every single season, and document your journey with us. We'd love that.
Oh, I would love that. That sounds so fun.
Talking to you has been so much fun. Like I could talk to you for hours.
Cool, yeah.
But
We're
thank
be
you
pulling
so
a lot
much.
of clips from these older interviews and those future ones, and
100%.
say, "Hey,
Of course.
you're supposed to be at 100 million subscribers right now.
Do
You're
it.
only at
Let's do it.
99,
I love the accountability. It's like the Billie Eilish way. She does that interview every year.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
do that here.
I love that.
Cool.
But thank you so much, Eric. It's
Thank
been
you
an
guys.
honor, and I hope we keep in touch too.